All right, an update on the LA Dodgers and LA Angels honoring the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. We went over this yesterday. The message of the day, I lay it right out there. This is a Christian hate group. Transvestites dressed as nuns, appalling, attacking the Catholic Church, defiling the Eucharist, mocking all of the Catholic icons in public. And they're going to be honored by the Dodgers and Angels at their gay pride nights. Here's what I said. Go. Look me in the eye. This is a hate group. The Los Angeles Dodgers wanted to honor the hate group. The Catholics and a bunch of organizations protested, and so on May 17th, 13 days after they said they were going to honor, the Dodgers rescinded the honor. But 5 days later, they officially reinvited the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence to be honored at their gay night. Shocking and appalling. Joining us now from Dallas is Dr. Matthew Wilson, teaches political science at Southern Methodist University, SMU, in Highland Park, beautiful campus there. And the doctor also studies the intersection of politics and religion in America. When you heard about this story as a historian and a political science guy, how did you react?
Well, I reacted, I think, with some sadness and some awareness of the historical context here, that people have to remember that there's a long history of anti-Catholicism in the United States, and that at different times in American history, Catholics have been the target of people on the right, and they've been the target of people on the left, and that there really is still, in this day and age, when most religious and most demographic groups are beyond attack, Catholics can still be seen as a legitimate target for ridicule. Just imagine if the group being mocked were those who had a religious vocation in another faith, rabbis or imams or something like that. That would rightly not be tolerated. But
do you think it would be under the banner of a hate crime? Would the federal government get involved if the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence threw out anti-Jewish tropes? Do you think that there would be legal action against this group?
Well, it would depend on what they actually did. I won't.
All right. Well, but they went into a church in San Francisco, took communion, and defiled it in front of a camera. So you could go into a synagogue and spray paint the Torah. Right.
And that would be regarded rightly as a hate crime. Desecrating the sacraments or desecrating the religious icons of a faith would, I think, rightly be regarded as an...
Well, why wasn't it, when we all know that if you spray painted a Torah in a synagogue, you'd be charged? Why wasn't the defilement of the Eucharist charged in San Francisco?
Well, that's what I'm saying, because unfortunately there is a much higher tolerance for anti-Catholic hate than there is hate directed at other religious groups. It is a very regrettable double standard, but the reality is that anti-Catholicism is not really taken seriously by the federal government as a hate crime.
Is it partially the fault of the Catholic Church in America because the Anti-Defamation League represents the Jewish faith? All right, and if you do something anti-Semitic, they're on it. But we don't have anything like that. We have the Catholic League in New York, but I didn't see any demonstrations against the Los Angeles Dodgers or Los Angeles Angels. Have you seen anything that's been going on for almost a month? There hasn't been any organized, you better not do this. This is insulting. No boycott call, nothing. So the Catholics seem to be absorbing this kind of punishment.
I think that's largely right. I mean, certainly you've seen people like yourself and others who have spoken out against this, but nothing institutionally from the Catholic Church. This is something where the Archdiocese of Los Angeles ought to be speaking out very, very forcefully against this Catholic display in their
Yeah,
community.
I think it's Ramos, the Archbishop out there. I think he did. But the other thing is that the press yesterday had the Illinois story where over 7 decades there were 2,000 victims of clerical abuse under the Catholic Church's banner. That was everywhere, and rightly so. Rightly so. All right, just has damaged the Catholic Church worldwide more than anything that's ever happened, including the Crusades. All right. However, this Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, you don't see this anywhere.
Right. It has not gotten the level of coverage that one might expect.
Was it in the Dallas Morning News? Did you see it in the Dallas Morning News?
I didn't see it in the morning news specifically.
No?
I've seen some online coverage of the controversy. But
It was in the AP, Associated Press. None of the networks covered it. Okay, let's go on to the Dodgers and the Angels. These are big organizations, billion-dollar companies. And they saw what happened to Bud Light, all right? But they don't seem to have any they fear the progressives who threatened them once they rescinded the offer to the, transvestite hate group. The left threatened them, and they folded. That's what happened. So it seems to me that the far left, way more powerful than the regular American.
Well, and here's where we'll have to see how this plays out, in the sense that if Catholics are truly offended by this, they can make their offense known by not showing up for Dodgers games, not showing up for Angels games. There are lots of Catholics who go to baseball games in Los Angeles.
4 million Catholics in Southern California,
and if
not
they
counting San Diego. Right, go ahead.
If they make their displeasure known, if they actually make these organizations pay a price for this anti-Catholic act, then they could start to wield an influence that
they could.
We see the left-wing groups do. Will they do it? That's very much an open question.
Doubt it, because there isn't any central force now in this country that motivates Catholics to do anything. It's really sad. It's a sad, wouldn't you say we're in a real down cycle here in our country? I mean, you're a political science guy, an expert in this. Aren't we in a down cycle culturally and politically here?
Well, that's a big question. I mean, there's a lot of things that contribute to that. But I would say one thing is the erosion of these organizations of civil society, of which churches are a critical one. That for so much of American history, churches played such a powerful role in building community, in building an ethos of good citizenship and of public service. And as church membership and church involvement has waned, we have a lot of negative consequences in our society, in our city.
Yeah. I agree 100%, Doctor. Thank you very much for your expertise. Really appreciate it, and we hope to talk again. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.